Welcome to Mind Flexing with Alia Parker, your fortnightly thought expedition to everywhere and anywhere. Strap on your boots or put your feet up. Take a deep breath and let's get flexing. Whoever named Big Flat Track was surely having a laugh. From its very start, it climbs as if it's aimed at the heavens. At times it's so steep, dirt will not cling to it, having eroded to bedrock long ago to reveal a vein of quartz cutting a striking sight. Clearly, it's not flat, nor does it lead anywhere that one could imagine even in the slightest to resemble something flat. At its base, in the valley, are the remains of an old sawmill easily hidden by the summer grass, and I wonder if the old miller had anything to do with the name. Did he joke with the little voice inside his head about this very not flat track as he death-defyingly carted logs down the mountainside? What's its story? A story lost in time and left to marinate in our imaginations. Short stories are everywhere, sometimes remembered, often forgotten, but always inspiring our curiosity. 1 or 2 words long, or in the instance of Tumble Down Dick Hill, 3. Stories that survive in street signs and place names all over the world. It's said this particular hill, which, if ever you pass, has a lovely outlook over Sydney's Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park, was so called because of a rather narky bullock that, if having decided his load was too heavy, would plonk himself down and refuse to pull his dray up the said hill. It's a rather clever refusal strategy perfected by Labradors and toddlers worldwide. And because of this habit, the bullock's master, William Oliver, called him Tumble Down Dick. Naturally, the hill became Dick's. There's more to this story, however, and for that we need to travel across the world to the home of weird place names, the United Kingdom. Tumble Down Dick Hill in Cumnor, UK is one of a few places that satirically honour the original Tumble Down Dick, who was none other than Richard Cromwell, the failed heir of Oliver Cromwell. For a whole 9 months in 1658, Richard ruled as Lord Protector of England, Scotland and Ireland, in essence a monarchy by a different name, but Richard was not his father and, failing to maintain control of just about everything, he resigned from power and handed control back to the monarchy. An abrupt and spectacular fall that earned him the Tumble Down Dick moniker. Place names are intriguing short storytellers. There's Dogganabugganaram Road in New South Wales. Supposedly a man once stayed there with a dog, a bug and a ram. Mount Buggery in Victoria. And it is a bugger to get over when all you want to do is get down. Mount Disappointment, conveniently located in the same range, and describes how the explorers Hume and Hovell felt when they encountered it. And the town of Nowhere Else in Tasmania, because there was nowhere else at the end of that road. Recently, while driving a road that cut a nervous line between a steep embankment and the river rapids below, we rounded a corner called 1,000-Pound Bend. One would have to imagine something rather unfortunate and very expensive happened there quite some time ago. Soon after, while passing through a state forest, there was castor oil track, shortly followed by tomato track. And given neither occur naturally in the Australian bush, one can only assume a fortunate soul once stumbled upon someone's lost groceries in that precise location. There are always stories in the names originating from our First Nations languages, like Marunkukum Parunkuntjonya Hill, which happens to be the longest place name in Australia and means where the devil urinates in the local Pitjantjatjara language. Don't drink the water there. There's Coogee, which despite being home to million-dollar beachfront houses means stinking place in the local Darug language because the seaweed that washes up there to this day really does stink. There's Marryong, where I grew up, also Darug for the place of emus. At least it was long, long ago. It's the Australian dream of urban sprawl these days. And there's Katoomba, where the shiny falling water in Gundungurra describes a most beautiful place. There are also place names that tell us stories about a history Australia struggles to acknowledge. where thousands of First Nations people died in silence, massacres and battles. Places like Murdering Creek, Massacre Lake, Valley of the Dead, Skull Hole, Slaughterhouse Gully, Butcher's Creek. There are far too many horrific and heartbreaking stories like these. Some place names have deep stories to tell, others less so. But even a seemingly benign street name usually has a story behind it. I once overheard a local town planner say he could never live on a new allotment he was naming because the sun didn't shine there until almost noon. He, however, always tried to look on the bright side of life, so he called the new street Sundown Crescent. And I think about that town planner and those whose job it is to officially name geographic places and how little pieces of their personalities are written into the world. So many of these stories fade with us unless we tell them. Like the story of Parker Peak, a triangular spike that soars above a glacial lake high in Canada's remote Kootenay Ranges. It was named after a lively young Australian called John Parker, who's believed to have been the first to summit the peak with his friend Kevin Root in April 1977. The following year, while working underwater clearing the bed of British Columbia's Okanagan Lake, John became caught below the surface. His spotter in the boat above had drifted. By the time someone realised something was wrong, John was gone. An Australian far from home, the brother-in-law I never met, and a story far too short, written into a place name for as long as place names exist. I'd love to know what place names inspire your imagination. What stories do they tell, real or imagined? Jump in the comments and share them with us at mindflexing.com.au. Thank you for listening. I'm Alia Parker. This is Mindflexing, and you can find more Mindflexing essays on mindflexing.com.au or on the Substack app. Until next time, keep flexing.